Hi, I'm Amber Holt, and I'm going to be discussing cross-national well-being and happiness. Survey measures of life satisfaction and happiness are now available for many countries, and they have become regarded as a genuine indicator of measuring human well-being by more and more people. Happiness evaluations provide valid and reliable information on how well people and societies as a whole are doing both at the level of individuals and that of countries. Happiness researchers so far have identified a number of covariates affecting happiness which explain observed patterns of happiness. Most determinants that affect happiness are construed as personal, demographic, and individual. Happiness is contextual in the sense that happiness is affected by economic, social, and political context in which individuals are immersed. Differences in average happiness among regions and countries indicate that situation or condition might affect people's appreciation of life at the collective level. These differences are contextual or situational, meaning people simply function very differently in different situations. Cultural dimensions have been shown to explain country-level differences in subjective well-being as well. Among them, individualism versus collectivism showed the most consistent associations with subjective well-being. Individualistic cultures generally place an emphasis on individuals' needs and values of autonomy and independence, whereas collectivist cultures are defined by prioritizing groups' values and well-being over those of the individual. People in collectivistic cultures tend toward an interdependent self-concept, defining themselves primarily as members of social groups. According to Stavrova in an article published in 2019, nearly 100 national cultures have been assigned an individualism-collectivism score, which represents nationally aggregated individuals' responses to items that have their preferred values, norms, attitudes, and behaviors. This has enabled researchers to explore the potential associations between cultural dimensions and subjective well-being. As a result, residents of individualistic countries were shown to score higher in life satisfaction and positive effect than residents of collectivistic countries did. Although this effect can be partly explained by the fact that individualistic cultures tend to be wealthier, it is consistent with other psychological perspectives highlighting the importance of freedom of choice and autonomy for well-being. Several psychological studies have shown that people in individualistic cultures generally consider themselves as scoring higher on a range of positive traits and as having better future prospects than most people. These self-serving biases have been shown to be less common in collectivistic cultures, suggesting that cross-cultural differences in the mean level of subjective well-being might partly be a result of strong self-enhancement tendency in the individualistic countries. Multiple studies converge on differences in national wealth as one of the most important country-level variables related to life satisfaction. Correlations between gross domestic product and the national level of life satisfaction show individuals living in wealthier countries reporting higher life satisfaction compared to individuals in poorer ones. Interestingly, the associations between wealth and life satisfaction at the individual level are significantly smaller. One explanation of why wealth seems so important at the country level is that wealthy nations typically score higher on a wide range of other characteristics that have been shown to have beneficial consequences for their citizens, such as political freedom, civil rights, good governance, low crime rates, and low social inequality. There is a significant relationship between social capital and happiness. Political freedom is also seen as a contextual determinant, which is primarily measured by the extent to which people feel that their government is effective and provides them with a stable context of rights. According to Changbin, in a study published in 2018, the association between governance and happiness showed that people are more satisfied with their lives in countries having better governance. In particular, they emphasize the importance of government effectiveness, regulatory quality, rule of law, and the control of corruption. Based on their findings, they determined that the improvement of the efficiency or effectiveness in governance will lead to a higher average level of happiness. Therefore, the government has been highlighted as a key determinant of happiness by the studies concerned with either quantity or quality of government. There have been many studies investigating relations between activities and policies of government and happiness. People are happier when they live in countries with more complete social welfare systems. Cross-national studies in sociology and economics additionally explored whether labor market policies, including unemployment benefits and employment protection regulations, could lessen the negative effect of unemployment. For example, unemployed individuals are better off in countries with more generous unemployment benefits. Employment protection and a higher benefit replacement rate are positively associated with the life satisfaction of everyone, with employment protection being particularly appreciated by the employed but higher replacement rates by the unemployed. Another line of research explored the role of healthcare policies in mitigating the effect of ill health on subjective well-being. For example, even though the association between self-reported health status and life satisfaction is positive across countries, it's weaker in countries with higher government spending on healthcare programs. That is, investing in healthcare appears to reduce the negative effect of ill health on life satisfaction, meaning becoming ill in a country lacking healthcare spending might result in accumulating personal debt or refusing medical treatment altogether, ultimately resulting in further health deterioration. The generosity of the welfare state was shown not only to compensate for individuals' health problems, but also to make life easier for the elderly. Older individuals are more satisfied with life in countries with better welfare services targeted at the elderly. Specifically, there's a positive association between the share of the elderly in institutional care homes and the life satisfaction of elderly individuals in general. Besides specific policies directed at improving the living conditions of one or another group, cross-national sociological research considered inequalities between different social groups. For example, studies portray a happiness gap between working women and housewives. They showed that working women were happier than housewives and that this happiness gap increased with the increasing country-level gender equality and economic participation, educational attainment, and political empowerment. Cross-national differences in gender equality were also shown to explain between country variation in gender differences in happiness, with women being more satisfied in more gender-equal countries. The national level of gender equality showed a positive association with life satisfaction in both boys and girls to the same extent. Similarly, despite some support for a positive effect of gender equality on women's happiness, researchers have also noticed that the happiness of American women has been in decline since the 1970s, despite growing gender equality. These findings point toward a limitation of the institutional approach, demonstrating that an objective improvement in living conditions might do little to enhance happiness unless it is followed by the requisite changes in the sociocultural climate. So why study happiness worldwide? Besides feeling good, happiness is associated with many positive life outcomes. Happy people benefit from better health and longevity, career success, and positive relationships than their less happy counterparts. Happiness promotes supporting others, broadens individuals' cognitive involvement with approaching goals, and other benefits as well. Thus, the study of happiness and factors promoting individuals' happiness appears to be an improvement endeavor with the potential to improve the human condition. Cross-national comparative research on subjective well-being has undergone fast-growing interest from a number of social science disciplines. These studies made substantial contributions to our understanding of cultural differences in subjective well-being. Further extending empirical studies to include longitudinal and experimental designs and promoting theory building in this area might be the first steps that future research should undertake. Thank you.